Now, as I mentioned, anytime that we have a Coinbox, we go through these stages of grief because we know that this Coinbox driver is going to disrupt everything that all our plans, not just our personal inventory, rubies, etc., but it also is disrupting how our coverage is looking. Because we have other Coinboxers and there's other Coinbox coverage. So I want to jump into this, right? So he's got 4 tracks immediately without having to take him up to level 3. So we'll go through each of these 4. First, we have Rainbow Road 2. You have a lot of great drivers here. 2 Coinbox drivers and 2 Lucky 7 drivers. Most likely, by now, you might have gotten Tuxie from a number of pipes. You can even get them in a pack this tour. Many of those who missed out on Meowser Santa made an effort to get him here a couple tours ago. Satellite View, probably the most rare of these 4. Luigi Painter, not far behind, but he's had even a couple options. You're probably set on this track. You probably don't necessarily need him. However, here's the thing, right? So if you don't have Bowser Santa, both Bowser Santa and Meowser both have the giant hitbox. So just think about hitbox as kind of a tiebreaker. It's not. I still think that coverage is the most important factor. If you don't have the track, you can't use them anyway. So don't, from that perspective, like coverage is the most important factor. But if you're having to pick between Meowser or Tuxedo Mario, you're going to want to go with Meowser, all things equal. If they're the same level, same base level. But, if Tuxedo Mario is a higher level, you're going to use him. Like, that's how, no matter how much the hitbox is bigger with Meowser, you're still going to be wanting to use your higher level items. It is literally just a tiebreaker. But think about that, and that you, as you're investing, he's a great driver to take up to a high level very, very quickly, if not immediately, because he is going to break the tie for all of your drivers. So if you have Meowser, you have Tuxedo Mario, both at level, say, 6, 1190, you're going to want to use Meowser. So Bowser Santa there with Meowser, it kind of does steal into his value, so it's a track that's probably the least interesting, or maybe the second less interesting, or only behind this Calamari Desert. But then we have Bowser's Castle. We're very familiar with this track because it is in ranked this week immediately. And we have Kangaroo Yoshi, who is a boomerang driver. So I know many of us have been excited to be using Kangaroo Yoshi. He's a great driver. He's been getting great buffs. He's been really thriving right now. But and honestly, this track is phenomenal for boomboxing. I think you have 4 or 5 drivers on that second level. So Kangaroo Yoshi is a great driver for this track. But I've even seen so many great drivers, people that I really respect in the community, that I can see their scores. They're still, even at level 7, 1190, even some that have 1400. I think of, say, Carlos. They're still in the high 40s on this track. Whereas I see other people that have Meowser and getting 50k easy. So I just want to say, there is an advantage to using Meowser on this track, despite a great setup for Kangaroo Yoshi. And maybe we'll stop there and get your opinion on those 2 tracks, just so that you're not having to go through all 8 at the same time.
Yeah, sure. So the first one, I think, is probably his weakest track, the RMX Rainbow Road 2. I mean, it's a great track to grind. It's definitely possible to get 200 actions there with a Coinbox driver, but you probably have it covered by one of the Lucky 7 drivers, or if you got Santa or Tuxedo, you probably have one of these 4 drivers, and 200 actions is possible with any of them. So it's not that big of a get. Bowser's Castle, it's a great track for boomboxing because, as you said, it's got 4 mid-shelf Coinboxers, but it's a long track with a lot of base actions, so actions without frenzies, or say a single Lucky 7 or a single Coinbox or whatever. Which, my personal preference is longer tracks with more base actions I prefer to do with Coinbox, and then shorter tracks I prefer to do with a boomerang driver. So these Ghost Valleys or Bowser's Castle ones, where there's only 4 item boxes the whole race, because a single boombox frenzy is just so many actions on its own. You can do that, and then one other frenzy. It doesn't even have to be a coin frenzy, and you're done. Whereas for Coinbox, you need like a really perfect sequence in those 4 boxes or close to perfect. On a longer track with a Coinbox driver, you have more leeway. So I have Yoshi Kangaroo on my main at a pretty high level, but I think I'll still use Meowser just because, I think I would prefer Coinbox on this track. That being said, if you have Yoshi Kangaroo, you may feel the sting of not getting Meowser a little bit less because he does have 3 overlaps, and all 3 of his overlaps all have mid-shelf Coinbox drivers, so they're all boomboxable.
Yeah, if maybe you didn't get Santa Bowser and you got him, and then you put a bunch of tickets on him to take him to level 7, and you're low on level tickets, which this tour we got a lot extra just between different rewards and token shot, etc. But if you're short on tickets, don't feel like you have to take him for at least the rank purposes. You can hold off a little bit if you have Kangaroo Yoshi at a high level. But at the same point in time, it's not the best Coinbox track. There is some like wiggle to the track. It's not super straight, but there's still a lot of flat areas. It's great for Coinbox in general, and honestly, there's a couple points where it's tough to keep combo. I'll be honest with you. So having that Coinbox is helpful there too. Good. All right, Calamari Desert R, one that we've seen for so many years. It has Kangaroo Yoshi, which is a boomerang, as well as also Larry, not Lemmy, Larry. Larry let me know that it is Larry. And so he's got the boomerang. And then we have the yellow Pit Crew Toad. So it's a track that is decent for a boombox. It's one that you may not need to take him up, but you don't see any Coinboxers there. So, and it's really kind of a dead track. It's not like a track that there's a lot of jumps or a lot of things to do. There is some detours that you can take, the little glide section. But in reality, if you just have a Coinbox and you're just getting a Coinbox single, you're going to be better off probably doing that than any other option. But I love this Calamari Desert R for him, and that's my personal preference. What do you think about this Calamari Desert R?
Yeah, I mean, if it was Calamari Desert 2, I would say maybe not so much, because those, I think, are 5-box tracks. But this is standard 6-box, 3 boxes per lap, a lot of big open spaces where you can, utilize that coin box. I like it. It's a bit of a pity for yellow Pit Crew Toad, because he's kind of, I mean, I'm still using, like because he's a super on my free-to-play, I was able to get him to level 6 now this tour, so I'm going to use him. I'm not going to have any high-end driver at level 6 anytime soon in my free-to-play account. So that's fine. But yeah, for a more advanced account, it's a bit of a pity for Yellow Pit Crew Toad. Again, it has a mid-shelf Coinbox driver in, I think, both bones. And so it is boomboxable, but I think it's a nice get to him. I was going to save this till the end, but I think there's a couple different ways you can look at his coverage. You can look at okay, he's only got 1 track where there's no other Plusical driver, or he's got 4 exclusives in that there's 4 tracks where there's no other Coinbox driver, which is a pretty strong start. Some of the more popular Coinbox drivers in the game only have 5 in total, like Vacation Peach, Pinko Peach only has 5. I think Tuxedo has 5 as well, or maybe 6, now I'm not sure. So 4 already is a really strong start. But then, yeah, I mean, it also depends on your view on boomerangs and boomboxing, if you count those as overlaps or not. And then finally, you can look in a sense of where is he even an upgrade? Because the only one that has a heavy Coinbox driver is RMAX Rainbow Road 2, which is why I say it's the weakest one as well. So then actually on 7 tracks, he's giving you a bit of an edge. Yeah.
Good points. For sake of time, move to Remix Ghost Valley 1, because we could talk about this all day, just about all these tracks, because they're really interesting, and I think that anytime we have a Coinboxer, there's some major disruption, a lot going on. So it's Ghost Valley 1, it's one that I think a lot of people pulled for Kamek. Very happy to get him, very excited. He was a big part of the game joining. Everyone was excited to get him. Now the one thing is that Meowser does have a larger hitbox than Kamek, so he is going to win that tie. But and if you don't have Kamek, this might be worth you getting him. But it's a decent track for Coinbox, and if you don't have Kamek, go for it. If you have Kamek, you can hold off on putting tickets on him, at least for that track. But I don't think you necessarily have to make any crazy moves right now. What are your thoughts?
Yeah.
You agree?
Okay.
Okay.
I agree.
Dino Jungle. This is one where Gold Cooper Free Running had his. I think you had mentioned in a couple tours ago that he had one of the more exclusive Coinbox for some of the classic drivers. He loses it here. This is one where he was Gold Cooper Free Running was the only Coinbox driver on this track. Obviously, a lot of people were using DK as a great alternative, but small driver. So when you're thinking about Hitbox, Meowser is a much better alternative. Now, there's some great areas for Coinbox here. This is Dino Jungle T, where you're having to literally jump every 2 seconds. But there's some great Coinbox areas here. This is a great Coinbox track in general for him, especially since he does have his hitbox. This is one of the better tracks to have him on. Now, it's an older track. You probably have great coverage on it. So, especially having a super on there that you probably the first one you took to level 7 being TK. I don't think you're worried about coverage, but when it comes to maximizing that track, he is a phenomenal driver. Anything to add to that?
No, but I mean so like in the last one, going from a medium to a heavy, you notice a difference, but it's not massive. But going from a light to a heavy, I think it was one of the Koopa Troopa Beach tracks. I just got my Rosalina swimmer up to the same level that I have the Gold Koopa, and man, it's like night and day going from Koopa to Rosalina. I mean, it's like a breath of fresh air. So this is really where hitbox and driver weight makes a big difference. Going from any track where a Gold Koopa or Gold Dry Bones to a heavy, it's for me it's a really big upgrade, and I think it's a tangible amount of actions you gain from making that upgrade. So in that sense, yeah, I think it's one of his better gets.
Yeah, definitely check out my my hitbox video that I did late summer. Highlights all this, but you have carts. They have a certain dimension. That dimension is either stretched out or squeezed in based on the whether it's light, medium, or heavy. The Coinbox drivers that are light, you're thinking like Dry Bones Gold. You're thinking about Gold Cooper Free Running. Large, you're talking about Meowser, any of the Bowsers really, now that he has two. Rosalina Swimwear is a large. I know it's kind of surprising, but if you're going to be using Pink Gold Peach or her, you're going to be wanting using Rosalina Swimwear, all things equal. But that's really important. Check out that video if you haven't seen that already. And then Calamari Desert. You're probably all set for coverage. You have this track down. It is like literally the one of two tracks that Morton has. And I know Warren is like everyone's favorite, even though he only has two tracks. But it's something you're not worried about coverage. On top of that, this was a really, really good track. So I think the loser when it comes to Meowser, the loser is Kamek, in my opinion, because he really loses two great tracks where he was the only Coinbox option. With Calamari Desert here, it's another dead track where it's perfect for Coinbox. You're just literally just kind of going like a 10-degree angle to the left or to the right. It's a phenomenal track for a Coinbox. But you're most likely not worried about coverage. And this is going to be a huge upgrade though for number of points. Anything you add to that, Antilev?
Poor Morton.
Poor Morton, man. He's basically as useless as it gets.
Like a few weeks ago, he was actually still a viable option, but like Kamek, Yoshi Kangaroo, and Yellow Pitcoat all got him like recently.
I mean, I know in the comments I'm gonna get at least two RIP Mortons because I know so many people love him. I was never really too intrigued by the coverage. I always looked at his coverage above skill, and I was like, man,
people just love Giant Banana.
They love it. I get it. It's fun. It is fun. These next two tracks, these level 6 tracks, are, in my opinion, the best options for Meowser. The biggest improvements. You have Remix Ghost Valley 1T. Now it's a T track, not like a super, like not a lot of great option like sections of the track for Coinbox, but you are still seeing a massive improvement, even if you're using Peach Happy. What are your thoughts on Ghost Valley 1T, the remix?
Yeah, that was one of the last few tracks that Peach Happy had, where it was like, okay, this No, it is almost like DK Pass R for Party Time Pauline. If she loses that, she's just absolutely, completely irrelevant. It's a great one for Meowser to get, and it's a bad one for her to lose. So, condolences to anyone who has invested heavily in Happy Peach.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'll be happy to. I'll like any comment that says "Rest in peace" for Peach Happy. I feel so bad for her. And then Bowser's Castle T, obviously a new track. It's a decent track for Coinbox. There's a lot of jumps and there's not a lot going on, and there is a lot going on. But him being the only Coinbox, him being the only plus skill, is phenomenal for him. A huge win for him. I don't think there's any denying that. Overall, I think Meowser is going to be a must pull for about 95% of the community. There are some people where it may not be in your options, which I completely respect and understand. But for 95% of you, please pull on him regardless. You're going to win in the long run. Anything you want to add about Bowser's Castle T or about Meowser in general?
No, I mean, I kind of did the summary halfway through. But, if we're talking about advanced or, whale accounts, whatever, you're really going to be looking at this like, okay, actually he can be an upgrade on 7 of these 8 tracks because of hitbox or whatever. And so then, you want to get him to level 6 as soon as possible. If you've got some of these other drivers and you're kind of in them. So I think that there's 2 groups of people who may not need to pull from him. I would say if you're very new, the gold pipe may be a better option just because you want to go quantity of Coinbox over the single driver. And then if you've kind of somewhere in the medium where you're not like a whale, but you're also not like, free to play where you have pretty decent coverage overall, you have most of these tracks covered, then you think, okay, maybe it's not that interesting. But I think for the advanced accounts and for for my free to play account, which is 9 months old, I've got my basic coverage. I've got like a decent stable of Coinbox drivers. I think I've got 4 or 5 Coinbox drivers at like level 4-ish. That's sort of my target. For me, I'm just gonna save rubies and pull for the new Coinbox or Boomerang or Giant Banana drivers. So that's I think, as you said, there's not a lot of accounts who won't find them very useful.
Good points. And I'm just glad they just called him Meowser instead of like Cat Bowser or something dumb. Like, you gotta love that. Like, that's, if there's anything you gotta applaud Nintendo for, it's that. Points. I'll kind of roll through them. I want to first touch on the thing you mentioned, which is people going in with 150 rubies and you not feeling bad for them. I want to make sure that we're very, very clear, because this is a topic I heard kind of discussed briefly during Kevin Garrett's detailed review, which I highly recommend checking out. And he said, don't let the developers push you around. Like, if you can't go into it, don't go into it. And I think this is a very important lesson to talk about. And if you're learning it the hard way, or I think one of the people that do a really good job with this is Sammy D. I think he does like to have fun with maybe a YOLO pull or doing a fun pull, but he never dips below 500 rubies, and he always has that cushion, that wiggle room. And I think sometimes, especially if you're on Discord and you watch these pull videos and you get excited, and especially as motivation in the game might be waning to some people, you could want to stimulate that and do a crapper 10 pull, or do a YOLO pull, or do pull parties, and I think all these fun things with pulling it. That is a luxury, in my opinion. That is something whales can do. I think if you are a free to play, you're gold pass only, I think you have to take a concerted effort to not do as many YOLOs, or you do as many fun pulls as you want to. You might have to pass up. You have to pass on a penguin toadette. Unless you like penguins have been like the thing you loved as kids, and like you could not get enough of penguins and you were dressed up as penguins at every Halloween. Unless like penguins are your thing, you have to just hold out on everything from that tour. You have to make sure that you have over 450 rubies, because at any point in time they could drop something like this on us, and you have to be prepared. I think if you aren't, and you're kind of going from tour to tour, with 200, 300 rubies, and then you're putting yourself at a tough spot, because this if you do not get him, you will be at a disadvantage in the meta level strategy. And so when I say he is a must pull, it comes with some descriptions that I need to be able to relate to people, and that is, if you are free to play, check out Kevin Garrett's channel, and he'll say, hey, this is not a must pull for you. I think if you were free to play, you would have had to prepared for this, which I think we all had plenty of time to prepare for this. I think we were all expecting a Coinbox player to be coming. It had been a while since getting a Coinbox driver, and so I think you have to take that into account. And I think that there has to be some preparation there. Now, if you're a Gold Pass only, you have a little bit more wiggle room. But ultimately, hopefully, you were in the 300 plus at any point in time. If you like getting a pack or two, like there are some great packs this tour. This is not a bad tour to be getting a pack and helping you. But I will say it is a slippery slope. You could get one pack, and next thing you know, you're halfway down the pipe, and then so on and so on. So I think I'm really glad, Antela, that you shared your experience from a free-to-play account that you have, is that you came prepared, with 450 plus rubies. You had to go deep, but you know what? You were okay. I think what's tough is we also have a gold pipe here in this tour, which makes things even more complicated. But I want to make sure everyone knows that this is a must-pull character. Asterisks, I want to make sure people understand when I say must pull. It does not mean like empty your bank account and get rubies to get him. Just, hopefully you prepared. Hopefully you can find a way to be able to get the rubies to get him. I know from talking with, say, Kareem or Hero of the Skies, who missed out on Santa Bowser last year. They had 12 months of kicking themselves and saying, I missed out on him. Now, I will say, he's not going to, in my opinion, he's not going to be like Santa Bowser, and that Santa Bowser really only came out in that Christmas pipe. Think about, say, Tuxedo Mario, right? He came out, and then he's been in like 2 or 3 pipes or packs, etc., since then. So you found other ways to get him. I don't think he will be that frequent, but I also don't think he will be as rare as, say, Santa Bowser. I could see him coming in some type of special pipe in, the April-March timeline. So you'll have 3 or 4 months where you're set far behind. And I hope that if you don't get him, that you're not discouraged, that this doesn't end your game. It's not the end of the world. I do think, though, with Coinbox being king, a new Coinbox driver coming out, I do think it is you will be at a disadvantage if you don't have him. Hopefully you get him. I hope everyone who's watching this video gets him in his first 10 pull or her 20 pull, whatever it might be. I pray that you have the luck in the pipes. But I think going forward, going into year 2022, just always make sure that you have a certain cushion. If you're gold pass, keep it to 300 at a bare minimum. And that, if you're like a dolphin, you can maybe be in the 200 range. But if you are free to play, always have to keep that 450 rubies ready to go for this exact situation. This is why you save this exact situation. And just remember, if you don't get him, just remember what this feels like, and maybe that'll help you save. Just like any other thing that you would save for, you have to visualize it and keep that in the back of your mind. So there's the soapbox rant. Anything you want to add to that, Antela?